Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a concept that literally shifts how we view success and collaboration. We're talking about leadership without authority. If you've ever had a brilliant idea but lacked the official title to execute it, or maybe you've watched a junior team member completely command a room with their presence, you know exactly what we're talking about here. We're going to dive into the traits, the mindset shifts, and the real, actionable steps you can take to guide teams and drive impact from exactly where you sit right now. Influence is not limited to titles. Think about that for a second. We so often associate leadership with, a corner office, a CEO badge, or a director title. But honestly, that's kind of an outdated reflex. The real power to sway an outcome, to guide a project, or to motivate a peer, it absolutely doesn't require a fancy email signature. Genuine influence is its own currency. So can someone be a leader without being a manager? Well, let's be real. We've all seen senior executives who couldn't lead a team to lunch, right? And on the flip side, we've seen junior employees who everyone just naturally rallies behind. How does that happen? That exact how is what we're going to decode today. Section 1. Rethinking the leadership myth. There is such a stark contrast between traditional authority and modern influence. Look at formal leadership. It really relies on formal positions, giving orders, direct control. It's that classic, do this because I'm the boss mentality. Informal leadership, though, operates on a completely different frequency. It's all about informal influence, trust, and persuasion. Instead of just falling back on a mandate, informal leaders actually do the hard work of gaining genuine support. Section 2. Influence from the middle. Let's define this clearly. Leadership without authority is the ability to guide, inspire, and influence others even when you are not in a management role. Notice the specific verbs there. Guide, inspire, influence. What's missing from that list? Words like demand, command, or dictate. Leadership is an action. It's the active process of stepping up and contributing, no matter where you are on the org chart. But wait, what are the challenges of leading without power? Because let's face it, when you can't just mandate that a deadline is met or simply order a colleague to help you out, you are going to face resistance. You have to navigate competing priorities, and yes, sometimes massive egos. It takes a whole lot more effort to align a group of people when you can't just throw down the "because I said so" card. Section 3, the Informal Leader Toolkit. To successfully lead without authority, you need specific essential qualities. Your soft skills basically have to completely replace the need to give orders. We're talking about strong communication skills to make sure your ideas are actually heard, emotional intelligence to read the room, and credibility to back it all up. And above all else, consistency. People follow those they can rely on, day in and out. So how do you put those traits into practice to start gaining support? Well, let's say you're trying to roll out a new software tool to a really hesitant team. Step 1, you listen actively to understand why they're pushing back. Step 2, you work to understand their different perspectives. And step 3, you use that empathy to build relationships. That right there is how you cultivate trust and persuade your peers, rather than just issuing commands. Section 4. Overcoming the power gap. Teamwork and adaptability are absolutely essential in today's workplace. This isn't just some nice-to-have bonus anymore. Workplaces today are incredibly dynamic, and agility is a strict requirement. Think about it. If everyone just sat around waiting for a manager to issue an order for every single pivot or task, modern companies would literally grind to a halt. The impact of informal leadership is massive. Mastering these skills empowers individuals and empowers you to take ownership. It fosters really meaningful contributions, and it creates undeniable impact regardless of your position. When a company actually embraces this kind of influence from the middle, it unlocks the potential of every single person in the room. Which kind of begs the question, is informal leadership actually more effective than formal leadership, and why? Well, think about it. Does genuine trust yield better, longer-lasting results than strict authority? Generally, yes, it does. When people follow you because they want to, not because they have to, their dedication and the sheer quality of their work usually just skyrocket. Section 5. Finding your own influence. Have you ever influenced someone without having authority? Seriously, think back for a second. Maybe it was a group project in school, or a time you somehow convinced your friends to try that weird new restaurant, or a moment at work where a colleague took your advice over a manager's. What happened there? You likely used communication, credibility, and emotional intelligence without even realizing you were doing it. Now, here's a slightly tougher question. Do people usually listen to you? Why or why not? If they do listen, it's highly likely because you've successfully built up that credibility and consistency we talked about. But if they don't, well, it might be a gentle indicator that you need to focus a bit more on active listening and relationship building. Ultimately, your current level of personal credibility really does dictate your informal influence. So, moving forward, how can you improve your influence in group situations? In your very next meeting, try just taking a step back. Practice that active listening. Really lean into your emotional intelligence to understand the perspectives of your peers before you pitch your own idea. By intentionally practicing these habits, you are actively growing your footprint of influence. Because really, what makes someone a strong leader in everyday life? Trust, empathy, clear communication? These are definitely not just corporate buzzwords. They are the fundamental traits of everyday leadership. They apply in your community, in your family, and in your friendships, well beyond the confines of the office. And how can trust increase your influence? Well, trust is the foundational currency of all informal power. Without it, persuasion is honestly just manipulation. But with it, your influence is pretty much limitless. To wrap things up today, I want to leave you with this. Would you prefer to lead with or without authority, and why? Does the safety net of a formal title appeal to you, or does the authentic, trust-based connection of informal leadership sound a lot more rewarding? Think deeply about your own potential here. And remember, your ability to inspire those around you starts right now, exactly where you are.